Start again.
Let's rock and roll from the beginning.
Exactly.
And again, I'm going to introduce myself. Some of you already know me, but to some of you, well, we are just new faces. So starting again, I am José Mateo. I'm the coordinator of the course. Been teaching since 2007 public education, being the coordinator of this course in this academy since 2016?
2015.
And 15, that was the first year. Because Ramón and both Alex, they both just got their positions here. And I'm gonna be just here trying to organize everything with their help. And now I've got Alex on my right. He's gonna tell you about himself.
Good afternoon once again, and now for good. Well, my name is Alex, as you know. I'm a former EPO student. I got the post here in 2019. Actually, that was the first year in which the online variety, the online course was offered. That was the first year in which the academy released the possibility to follow the course online, because at that moment I was working in Barcelona, and I was part of the first cohort, and I got the post on that year, on 2019, on my first attempt. And ever since I got the post, I was hired as a trainer here at the academy, and I've been training candidates for 4 years.
Wow, happy candidates!
Yeah,
I've seen the pictures
so.
of your trips and everything. So he was an excellent candidate, and he's just the guy for the online education, because he just couldn't make it to come here and just follow the course online, and it's just a successful product of that course.
Exactly.
And for those of you who are just far and you cannot attend the on-site classes, he is gonna be the one who's gonna give you all the kits and everything, because he has been in your shoes, right?
The living proof that you can get it.
And now we've got Ramón here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ramón. I am also a former EPO student. I was one of Jose's first students.
The first and the best candidate who just passed the exam the first time I was teaching. So
I was in the first.
I remember people in his class hating him because he was so good.
So I took the exam in 2016. I started here in EPO September 2015. I was working at the same time in a private school, which means that for some of you, there is a possibility to pass the exam even though you are working. You have to work hard, though. And I passed at the first time, the first attempt, 2016. And at the moment, I'm working in a school near the city center of Murcia as a primary education teacher, specialist in English. And I'm also the school's English coordinator.
All right. Let me share a presentation with you, because we've got another member. We've got Maria Libertad, which is not a teacher, that couldn't make it to come today, but he will be with you guys during the whole year, next year. So if you can just write a line to just check that you can see the size screen properly, and the presentation we have just shared with you guys. Here it is. And here, here's the chat box.
Any comments, any questions you would like to ask? Just
drop us a line.
Okay, we will just do the presentation, and when we finish, because I bet you've got thousands, but we will try just to summarize the course, and then we will just read out at the chat box and try to solve your questions. You can either just type your question now, or just wait till the end as you wish. When we finish, we will just go there to the chat box, and we will go over every single question that you might have. Okay, so here you can see a picture of Maria Libertad, who is the next teacher, the other teacher who is going to be with us next year, and she's just such an expert in methodology and resources and design of materials, so many different things. So you will see in a minute. Okay, so I want to start with just commenting about the different calls. It's just like a kind of mixture of things this year. Some calls are new, some calls are the old version, the traditional version. So we're going to start just to set the situation in the whole of Spain and the nearby communities, those communities where who just attend more this academy, and then we will just go through the preparation itself. Okay, so let me just start with the different examination varieties that we can find. Okay, so basically in this year we're going to find two different routes, two different vías, as they call that in Spanish, right? The route 2 and route 3, right? So via 2, via 3. Via 2 is the new one, right? Is a single and only version of the exam that is going to take place in some communities next year, and it's just linked to a law that was passed to reduce the number of the so-called interinos in the public administration, right? So it's just a different version of the exam, a shorter version. Some might say, well, an easier version, at least it's shorter, right? So it's a version that only has one test in 2 parts. So it's the same test. You don't fail one part because it's the same part. You've got a single test that comprises a written topic and then the exposition of a didactic unit. That's all. And then because it's the same part, so but we can just say single test, 2 parts. Part A is one written topic chosen out of 3. So there will be 3 options, and you will choose one.
3 out of 25, right?
Yeah, of course, out of the 25 of the set of topics. We will comment on the topics later, of course. And then the presentation of a didactic unit, right? So, and it's a unit that is not related to the old version where we have 12 or 15 didactic units and you have to choose one, or you have to choose 3 and then select one on the day of the exam. No. This is something simpler. You will just choose one unit at home, do it, that's all. Okay, we will just comment that unit should be also connected to a framework which is just wider, right? So and you will have to present somehow that framework, that teaching plan, that socio-cultural situation where the school where that unit is going to take place. But basically it's just you choosing one unit and then just doing the defense. That and a topic only. There's something special in Madrid because even when there are no practical tests in any communities in this version, we do have one in Madrid. But the test in English has usually been in the past in Madrid something more related to use of English and grammar and vocab and stuff, right? So as in other communities, the practical cases tend to have more the character of a case study, a situation that you have to solve. In Madrid, it was usually just something related to, well, something that you will do for a C1, C2 test. Okay, so again, none of the 2 parts is eliminatory because they belong to a single text, right? So you will do both of them. This is what is happening this year in some communities. And we will see for the next year which communities are going to follow that route, right? And then route 3 is just the classical access, right? What we have had so far is just in the first part, we've got a topic and a practical test. And then we've got also the practical test and the written topic. And then the second part, we've got a teaching plan. And then out of the set of units of that teaching plan, you have to select one and you have to do also an exposition of that unit. Okay, so it's just 2 different parts, the oral side, the written side and the oral side. And in order to do the oral side of the exam, you must pass the first part. So you need to have a minimum mark of 5 between the written topic and the case study. And then if you do have a 5, then you pass the second part, and then you do the defense of the teaching plan that you have to hand in. Depending on the different communities, you will hand this teaching plan early in advance, or you will hand it after you have passed the first part, and then you do didactic unit exposition, right? What we have had so far. Which communities are going to have the VI2 exam? Murcia, Andalusia, Madrid with the text included, and the Canary Islands, right? And those communities who haven't called this new version of the exam, they won't, because it's impossible, because the limit to make this, to call for the exam using this variety, the so-called VIA2, was December 2022. So December 2022 was the limit to call for this kind of examination. That makes a reality which is kind of odd, because For instance, in Valencia this year, they have had Y2 exam in secondary, isn't it?
Yeah.
But next year, primary is not going to have Y2 in Valencia. Why not? Because they haven't called for that kind of examination before December 2022. So Valencia is expected to call under Y3, right? As it is in Castilla-La Mancha, right? There's another particularity for the Canary Islands, because the Canary Islands call for this exam, but not only they call it, but they started with a limit to sign up. And then some 20 days after the call was released, the admission was closed, right? In Murcia, Andalusia, and Madrid, the admission is open. And in some calls, they also tell you when you need to sign up. So we know that it is December 2023 in, oh no, I'm sorry, 2022 in, we're in 2022 right now.
Three.
Oh my God.
2022
December,
was the buyer.
it's just the heat. Sorry about that. So December 2023 is the time will be open, the limit will be open to sign up for call in Murcia. But in the case of the Canary Islands, if you didn't sign up, some days after December, then you are not, you cannot make it now. Okay.
That's something similar is happening this year in secondary education in Cantabria. They've
Okay.
they've done exactly the same. They've closed the deadline, and they had to go one day last week or a couple of weeks ago to just sign, and then the exam is next
Wow.
next year.
It's next year, so it's the same thing. So you sign in January 2023 for the examination of June 2024, but that's what happens. So Canary Islands call is closed. You cannot sign, but if you did, of course, you can prepare, and we will prepare the Oposiciones. We'll prepare Oposiciones for all the different autonomous committees. So if you're in Cantabria, in Galicia, whatever, we will help you. We will be with you guys. But we will do like a model, right? Because there are two different versions. Well, materials are going to be done following those two versions for Murcia and in by 2, and the Valencian community and by 3. And then for the rest of communities, we will say, okay, this is all the materials you need to just follow the same directions we've done for the long version of the exam via 2 or via 3, either in Murcia or in Valencia. You just have to change the names of the pieces of legislation, change a little bit, but the thing is going to be the same.
Yeah.
And if there is something which is especially confusing, we will prepare a version for your community of that section. Okay, so do not worry. That does not mean that we are only going to focus on Valencia and Murcia. We will use Valencia and Murcia as models, right? And we've got tons of students for those two communities here in EPO, and they are very important. But we have a tradition of preparing people for any community. We have prepared people for Leon, for Galicia, for Andalusia, of course. So
Canary Islands. As
the
well.
Canaries, and we have had some successful candidates there. So you just send us a message, and we will have all the documents, the legal documents, the didactic documents, everything you need for your autonomous community. All right, apart from this Murcia, Andalusia, Madrid, Canaries, Valencia, and Castilla-La Mancha, that we will always tend to have students from. So we have things prepared in advance, but we will cover everything. Okay. Then if you want to just have a look at the call for the exam, for those calls under Y2 that they will release in December 2022, you've got the list of the different calls here. All right, just remember that the call deadline is closed in the Canaries, but the rest, if you want to check exactly when you have to sign up for the exam in Murcia or Madrid or Andalusia, you've got the calls there. Again, in Valencia and Castilla-La Mancha, we have to wait till it will probably be by December or so, as it has been this year. Maybe in Valencia, sometimes they release the call earlier, like in November or so.
Yeah, they usually do it that way.
Okay, so fantastic. Well, again, this is just for the two possible versions, how things work. You know, this is something called Concurso Oposición, right? Which is examination and then the merits. Okay, the courses and the
Experience.
right, everything.
Experience.
So in Y2 call, examination, the so-called the Oposición process is 60%, and then the merits, courses and stuff is 40%. And part A, as we said, is just 3 topics, choose one. In that case, remember there is just a single test with 2 different parts. It's not an eliminatory, right? And in Murcia, the written topic has an amount of mark of 50%, and in other communities it's 40%.
2 hours.
That's it.
You
That's it.
have 2 hours.
2 hours. You always have 2 hours.
To do the test.
Then for the second part, it's just different. Some communities offer 45 minutes for the presentation. Some communities offer 30 minutes for the presentation. But in all cases, in Murcia, obviously, if the written part is 50%, the oral side is the other 50%. But in the rest of communities, the oral side of the exam has a bigger value because it's 60%, right? In the rest of communities, that's the new variety. And in Madrid, we've got part A, which is 40%, and then part B is 60%, but it comprises the presentation and exposition of ayudarte unit and a practical test. Okay, as we said.
Also, when you do the defense of the didactic unit in this case, well, if it's via 2, you have 45 minutes or half an hour, depending on the community,
Yep.
and then you have 10-15 minutes where the members of the board can ask you questions.
Of course.
You expose for half an hour, 45 minutes, and then you have also 15 minutes more or less to answer questions.
This is a very important part that we will just make an emphasis later, because for that part, there is something which is going to be very useful. We're going to do here in the academy, and I will tell you in a minute, right? For the questions of the board. Then invite to the merits is teaching experience is 7 marks. Okay, invite to is just made for people who have worked before to get the best possible mark, right? That's why out of the 10 marks that you can get for the merit, 7 is for having worked before, right? So this is 7. Then you've got 2 in block 2. Block 2 is further studies. Both the mark that you got in the at the university in your degree, right? So depending on the communities, if you have a 7.5 or an 8 or a 9, you are given an amount, a different amount of mark. And then if you have other studies, if you have a doctorate course, a master's, Fisher School of Languages, everything that is in block 2. And then block 3 is for the courses that you can just do with universities or unions or other institutions, right?
We'll see the merits more in detail in September.
Of course.
And you will do your own merits and everything. But also when it comes to teaching experience, you need to know that it's not the same if you've been working in a private school as if you've been working in a state school. The marks, the points they give you, it's not the same.
You can always have a look here at the different calls that have already been released to see the merits. You cannot make anything. I mean, you have to center yourselves in block 2 and 3, because block 1 you either have it or not. You have been working or you haven't been working. You cannot make anything about that. But you can maybe get a certificate from the Official School of Languages or get the courses. And how many courses do I have to do? Well, we will explain everything in September, but you can now check the list of merits in the calls that have already been released, and you can just see what you can do there. In the case of Valencia or Castilla-La Mancha, who didn't release the call, you can go to the past calls, because that thing does not really change that much, okay? And then these were the merits. The calls under by 3, possibly Castilla-La Mancha and the Valencian community and others that didn't release. We will all, of course, for the preparation, because we don't have to go for the exam, we have to have a look at the Royal Decree 276/2007, which is the one regulating access of teachers to public education in the whole of Spain, right? So all the different calls have to pay attention to this one. And we've got the examination stage. Remember that examination is the so-called Oposición, comprising written topic, practical case, teaching plan or syllabus, and didactic unit. All of that is 2/3 of the mark, and 1/3 of the mark is for the merits, okay? So that's the classical thing. And of course, as I said, first test, which is written and it's eliminatory, you need 5 marks to pass. and then you have a second test, which is oral. First test is a practical test and a written topic with 2 topics to choose one. In the past, it was 3 topics to choose one, but it was because we were also inside a specific period which was special. Was not the one regulated purely by Royal Decree 276. Now that we are going back to that Royal Decree, it's just 2 topics to choose from. Okay.
When I took the exam in 2016, it was exactly like this. And also in the practical test, we had 2 different tests. Like we had the listening and we had a
That's it.
case study.
That depends also in some communities. So the community you're taking the exam. If you go to Galicia, it was only a reading or a writing. If you were paying attention to Valencia, it was only a case study. But yes, it was like 2 different parts. In the case of Murcia, it was listening included. Now, the second test is just a presentation and defense of the syllabus, teaching plan, programming, and then the expression and defense of the unit. This is the classical way. The only difference is, again, you have to choose from 2 topics, as Ramón had to do in the past. And the merits is just teaching experience, 5 marks. Section 2 is not teaching experience, it's further studies. It's another 5 marks, and merits is just 2 marks. And you will say, well, can you get a 12? No, you can get a maximum of 10, but you can get, for instance, 3 marks from teaching experience, 5 marks for further studies, and 2 marks for courses, and still get 10. While in the previous version, Vi2, you couldn't only get a 10 if you had a lot of teaching experience. Some people say, okay, Vi2 is only made for, and it's made only for those candidates who have already been working well, and for those who study, and for those who prepare, and for those who do a great exam, because sometimes you need to get a 5 just to pass to the section of merits. And some people who have worked a lot might not pass the exam. And that might have also happened. I've been hearing some news about this year exam, and it seems like even when there was not a practical case, the written topics were not so good sometimes, right? And we have heard that comments from candidates, of course, from our academy saying, well, I've seen some other people commenting on their exams. They are not that good. If you don't do a good exam, even if you have a lot of experience, you won't get to the end.
It's a threshold that you need to go through, and otherwise you won't be able to show the merits.
That's it. So you have to do your best. Even if you have never worked, there's always a possibility of either getting the position of getting such a good mark that puts you into school next year from September on to just be working and be getting teaching experience for the next school. Okay, so it's always great to just center yourselves on the work, forgetting about the lot of noise that can be outside. ¿Para qué te presentas ahora? Si eso está hecho solo para los interinos que tienen muchos puntos. No. That is for everyone working hard, and working always pays, right? And have a reward. Okay, that's it. And now a little bit of introduction to the training system. Again, we will just go through all your questions. I see people just working and typing, but now I'm Ramón here on my side.
I will try to explain this as easy as possible. Obviously, we hope to see you all who are here. We hope to see you in September. So you should start thinking which group fits best to your characteristics. We have 2 different options. We have the 100% online, and in the 100% online, which means that you will not attend the academy, which is here in the city center of Murcia. Alex was, you can say you were working in Barcelona.
Exactly. I was working at charter school in Barcelona, as I told you before. And actually, as I'm from Alicante, I knew EPO. Despite the fact that I could have enrolled any other academy there in Barcelona, I knew EPO and I wanted to get trained here. And I heard that they were going to release the first edition of the online version, and I decided to go for that. And I did the whole course without stepping into the academy, not at all. Ever since I registered as an EPO student until the moment in which I got the post, I could tell you that you don't need to show up at any moment because everything is given online. It worked perfect the first year, and now we have a lot of expertise.
In fact, I remember in the last school, there was one candidate who just got the position online, and she just told me, "Can we have a coffee? Because I wanted to just talk to you live." And of course, it come whenever you want to. And she came one day. She said we went downstairs and we had a coffee just to know each other after the whole year and after her successful ending. So
So you can do
great.
it in the comfort of your houses. It's not just for those who live far away, as it was my case. It's just for those of you who cannot make it for whatever reason, because your timetable doesn't really match with the classes that we offer here, or because you have family or professional duties that doesn't
Take
allow
care
you
of your
to-
baby, whatever.
Exactly, whatever happens. I mean, the good thing of the online groups is that everything is recorded, so you can follow it live or later on when it's uploaded to the platform, because you will have all classes there. Even for you to revisit them in case that you see one of the classes that you don't really understand at once, you can just revisit it later on.
And the teachers, the materials, the contents, and the explanations
It's everything the
are
same.
identical,
Exactly.
right?
There are no differences.
So we have the online group, as we said, which is 100% online. And for those who are going to start for the first time and have never studied anything related with the state exam or anything, it's on Thursdays from 7 o'clock in the afternoon till 10 o'clock. As Alex said, you can follow us. You can follow the class live, and you can interact with us, ask your questions.
As you are doing now.
Also, you can open the microphone and you can ask questions, and
That's it.
we can.
You've got like a little hand there that you can click, and that means I want to talk, and we open the microphone and you just interact with us.
And if you don't want to speak, you can just type the questions
That's
in the
it.
chat.
And then for those who have already have an experience, have already taken the exam before or want to, you have the veterans group, which is also on Thursdays from 7 o'clock till 10 o'clock. That is the online group. And then we have the blended group, which means that from the 4 weeks that the month has, 1 week the class is at the academy, then following week is online, the third week is at the academy again, and then the fourth week it's online again. And
so
then
on
we
and so forth.
start again. Okay, so if you are interested in joining a blended group, again, if it's the first time you're going to take the exam and you're a bit lost, or you want to start from the very beginning, we recommend you to join either the Monday or the Tuesday group, which is from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 8 o'clock. Or then if you've already taken the exam, you have the veterans group, which will be on Wednesdays from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And also the week that they don't come to the academy is on the Thursdays. Right?
They join the Thursday group.
Yeah, you join the online group.
Okay.
Okay. So we have the two versions, online or blended. So you have all the possibilities to join us. And as we've already said, everything is uploaded. The following day, you have the whole class. You can watch 50 minutes and go for a walk, come back, and it's at the same point, the class. You can take in the notes you want, which is very good. And then common aspects, as we've already mentioned, the contents are exactly the same. It doesn't mean that if you are online, you're going to miss something. But we do exactly the same in each lesson.
Even if you're in the blended group, everything is centered in the online campus. So either version you select, everything is just collected in the same place in the online campus, and the documents are there, and the physical aspect of the online campus is exactly the same for online and on-site courses, right?
That's it. And at the beginning, the first lesson in September, we will give you a timetable of all the lessons we will have for the year, with everything we will do in each one. Obviously, this timetable can be
slightly change, but usually you try to follow.
An idea of what's going to happen in each lesson. And obviously the designing of the syllabus, if it's the case, or the didactic unit, is adapted to the new legislation, which is LOMLOE. And as Jose just said, there's no excuse to miss a lesson, because even though if you're in online or in the blended group, you can watch the recorded lessons.
That's it.
I think it's pretty it's interesting that we can comment on the reason why it's 4 hours in the blended group and
That's
3
it.
hours on the online. Some people might
Yeah,
wonder
Sure,
why.
sure.
Well, basically, the only difference is because in the blended groups are as people are on site, that makes people interact more, and
And they need
classes-
a little break. Okay, that's a
Exactly.
break, like a 20 minutes break. Because 4 hours listening to blah 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 is
yeah,
just
it's too much.
some people need a coffee,
Exactly.
okay, in the break. And of course, getting out, getting in, we just go sharp with the schedule, but it takes a little bit more time. And of course, there's more interaction, so that makes it necessary to have a little bit longer.
Yeah.
It's also interesting now that you came back to this slide to comment on why would I join a veteran group or a year one group, because this year we've got new legislation, we've got new curriculum, we've got a new decrees and royal decrees and everything. So I've been there before. I've been in EPO before, so I'm a veteran. But then I know nothing about the new system. I was in the time when there were standards, and now there is no standard. What do I do? Well, if you've been with us before, just join the veteran group, okay? Because we will just tune and adapt everything, but you don't need to start from the beginning, right? So you have been with us, you know the system, you just join the veterans. Still, if any of you feel that you are stressing in a veterans group and you want to join the year one, the new students group, you can always do it, okay? Because it's the same teachers and it's the same preparation, so you can always have that possibility.
Also to individualize the teaching, we've got correct me if I'm wrong. If each day we've got a couple of groups.
That's it. That's it.
Tuesdays when you
On Monday we've got one, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Wednesdays we have two.
So the days you come to the academy, there are two groups, which means that there's not a lot of people in each group.
That's it. Okay, as long as there's
Which
people enough,
guarantees
of course. And that's it. And the other way around, if you start in a year one group because you haven't been with us, but then you say, okay, I've got these things, I've been preparing before, and I know I can make it, or I want to try veterans, you can also swap. Okay, there won't be any problems with that. Oh no, swapping one and again and again and again and one will be more problematic.
Yeah.
But then
Because
say,
you can get lost.
send in your mind for a good reason that you could always have the possibility, because it's the same preparation, same academy, same thing. So great. Now I don't know if you want to just start commenting about the topics, Alex.
Yeah, let's go talk about the topics. Set of topics. Well, set of topics, as I guess you know, it's made of 25 topics, right? This is it's nationwide. I mean, 25
It is.
topics is for the whole country. You've seen with Jose that the system changes very much from one community to another, but as far as the set of topics is concerned, it's just the same for the whole nation.
There are little personalizations you have to do, depending on some topics, those who are more related to the curriculum and stuff.
Exactly.
But apart from that, it's just the same.
In some autonomous communities, you need to, add little touches on how to connect certain areas with the idiosyncrasy of like in the Canary Islands.
That's it. That's
They have
it.
to make
Reference, and in
make
Andalusia as
references.
well to the
Yeah.
culture. You have to include more references to just
Exactly. But at the end of the day, the set of topics is just the same. You can just go online and see the list that will apply for the whole country. And it's 25 topics. Something very important as far as the set of topics is concerned is that topics shouldn't be super long. Topics should be feasible to be written in a couple of hours. This is super important because some people out there might think that longer topics are better because you have more information, which is true. You have more information, but the thing is, will you be able to write it in a couple of hours? Well, I can tell you that our topics are designed for you to be able to put it down in a couple of hours.
And of course, it is more on the quality side than on the quantity side.
It's not the amount.
That's it. I can just tell you, I was a member of the board in 2013, and I was just correcting like 80 topics. Some of them were pretty long, some of them were pretty short, some of them were average. The important thing was just going to the point. including quality information, and that made the difference. I didn't care if it was like 2.5 pages or 20 pages. I could find long topics which just blah 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 and didn't go to the point, and then some others were much shorter, but they were just clean, organized, coherent, full of information. So that's what we want. Okay.
And also, they will find out if they're able to. Well, we'll explain this later on, but they will find out if you're able to write down the topic in 2 hours, because we're going to do mock exams here.
And the key word is what Ramon said. You will find out, because if you attend mock exams under exam conditions, you are the first person who is going to realize what you can do within 2 hours.
Yeah.
And sometimes, many times, the first exam finished, and some people say, José Mateo, I couldn't finish. And I say, congratulations. I say, congratulations for not finishing. And I say, yes, congratulations for being here and have the great opportunity of realize that you have to write shorter topics.
Many times when we do the mock exams, the time finishes and a candidate will say, can I continue writing? I say, yeah, you can carry on, but you know the day of the exam,
you won't be able to do it.
Writing on the table.
Okay, and just we will go through that later, but just attending those mock exams is just something paramount. Small inquiry here. Did you attend the written exams? Did you attend the mock exams?
I did online, but I did.
No single candidate who got the position in EPO, no single candidates were candidates who had not taken an exam before. They all have done mock exams before, because it's just putting yourselves in the situation, having a chance of being there. So you will comment later, but that is something so important.
Yeah, well, basically, is this the set of topics that we have. Humbly speaking, I can say that you won't find better topics out there.
That's what we
because
think.
our topics are being improved nonstop, and basically we've got a lot of expertise. Our topics have been polished up many times, and they keep being polished up. So you can just trust and rely on our topics.
You got an example in the EPO webpage, so you
there
can download it and check it yourselves.
This is all you need to get, to pass this first part with flying colors. You don't need anything external. Some candidates might think, well, what if I add something outside? You don't really need to add anything outside. If you are able to elaborate the topics with the information that we provide in the topics.
That's it. If you personalize, better. All right, so everything's supported then.
Apart from the topics as such, we will also provide you with mind maps and different strategies. Will make it a lot easier for you to remember all the information in the long term, because at the end of the day, what matters is that you remember the information the day of the exam. And this is not an exam that we will take in 2 weeks after you start studying. You will take the exam a year after you start training, basically. Well, not a year, but a little bit less. But we will develop strategies for you to, to be able to retain the information in your brain, and be able to put it down.
That's it. And you will give him
and also
all the different materials that we need for that.
Supporting material, extra resources for you to customize the topic, because we will give you the topic, which is like the core information. But of course, in order to be more customized, or so that you can give your personal touch, we will also give you extra ideas and extra resources for you to be able to customize it.
About talking about personalizing the topic, I remember that when I took the exam, one of the members of the board said, because you know that when you write the exam, when you do the written and the topic, it is anonymous. You don't write your name.
Of course.
And when I finished everything, one of the members of the board told me that she could tell out of 80, she could classify so many exams that came from such academy, so many, and there were 5, 6, or 7, which were like,
I don't know.
She couldn't classify
where this person came from.
Because if we can give you the topic, and you can study it from the first letter to the last. But if 50, 60, 80 of you do exactly the same,
that will lose the originality, right? It is okay. It is okay, but it is always nice if you have the time. And now we have a lot of time ahead to just personalize it a little bit. Okay, so now it's just Ramon is going to comment on the case studies. It's something like, okay, I'm not taking the exam in Valencia or in Castilla-La Mancha, so I'm taking the exam in Murcia or Madrid, or do I have to pay attention to this section, please? Do just be aware that this section is going to be of paramount importance, not only for those committees, but also for that section that we commented before, questions of members of the board. Well, you will get a lot of information to just back up your answers from doing this thing here. Okay.
Exactly. So I will quickly go through this. Obviously, this is more specific for Valencia and Castilla-La Mancha at the moment, but maybe other autonomous communities will do this option. This is what we've been doing so far for the past few years, and it's a case study where they give you a situation in the class, and you have to solve this situation, which is what can happen when you finish the defense of your didactic unit. You can expose your didactic unit, which is fantastic, and when it finishes, the members of the board may say, and what would you do if you have this issue, or what would you do if you have that is a practical situation, that is
it.
That is something that you don't know. How
And
would you
if you
solve it?
if you have just create a skill of just solving these things, and then from the information you need to solve the different situations that we are going to show you through the year, you will have lots of tools to just provide a quality answer. And let me tell you, a good answer to the last questions just makes you bright. It's just the icing on the cake, and it can just
the difference.
Yeah, that will make a difference just for them to finally decide.
9 or 10 is not the same.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
It's okay. Yeah, but 1 point.
Yeah, but the 10 is, of course,
that
of course, in this process.
So for the written practical case, we will provide you with different structures. We will see different cases, different samples, and we'll provide you with different materials and resources. But basically, the idea is for those from Valencia and Castilla-La Mancha, you're going to have to solve a classroom situation. But as we said, they might ask you, how would you solve a specific? What would you do if you had a student with such a characteristic? How would you include this student in the didactic unit that you've just exposed? Or how would you include ICTs in this? Or how would you? So it's something that you need to be able to answer.
That's it. And of course, all the resources that we give you are going to be valid for all the different parts, for the design of the didactic unit, if you are invited to exam, for the questions from the members of the board. But again, the case studies are related to topics, to the set of topics, to the school organization, to legal factors, to pedagogical issues. So everything you do will be valid for all the preparation, right? So essential, because they are enriching. They will create a background that will be useful for so many different things, right? And regarding syllabus design, okay, I've gone through the case studies and syllabus design, which are just restricted to some communities first, because later on we will just comment on the units, which are for all of the different communities. Either you have by 1 or by 2, you will have to defend or to present that unit. And regarding syllabus design, we will just go through the different sections. We will provide you with examples of the different sections, and then like a guide document, and then examples. Of course, the examples that we provide in the academy tend to be from successful candidates who just offer us the possibility of showing their successful work to you guys. But this is the first year we're going to have this version of the exam with this new legislation. So we will just provide you with examples who were made by other students, by students with different legislation, but we will rearrange it to meet the new characteristics, right? So you will have a guideline, and then you will have the section, a model of the section, and then you will have the materials to just rearrange that document that will give you to make it yours and make it personal. And that will be done with all the different sections along the whole year. We don't work on one single thing, and then when that thing is done, we don't work on topics, and then when topics are seen, we go through the unit, and then when the units are seen, we go through other section. Now we just work parallel with all the different things, because you need to just do that thing. You need to just be skilled and be prepared in all the different sections, right? We will just provide you always corrections of the teaching plan. You will send us a first version. We'll send you a correction with some comments. You send us the new arranged version done following the comments of the first correction, and we will correct the second part, right? So at least a couple. Then you will always have the possibility of, by the end of April, May, if you have the whole thing done and you want us to just have a look, we will always be receiving that as well. And of course, as we say, as we have seen before, you have the opportunity to do all defenses of the teaching plan and the ethics unit. That is something we will do here in the class for those of you attending the blended version of the course, and especially those days when you attend the academy will be fantastic for that. But still, to those people like Alex who couldn't make it to come here, we will open a section in the epOnline campus where you could just record yourselves with cell phones, send us a video, and we will just observe your presentation and give you feedback. Okay. Whenever you provide feedback, we provide feedback with some checklists we have created, paying attention to the different criteria by the members of the members of the board all over Spain. So the criteria tend to be more or less the same, and then we just follow them. Of course, once the new criteria are released, that will happen by probably June 2024. If you are taking the exam in Valencia, and we have the criteria for Valencia, we will strictly adapt our defense to those criteria. But in the meantime, we have just created a personal checklist that contains most of the elements that are necessary, right?
I think the last point is very important because when you do the didactic unit, the document, which is 20 pages, talking about the syllabus here, but it's the same. That can be fantastic written, but they are going to have a quick look at it. What's going to give you the marks is what the oral exposition, and you don't want to do the oral exposition for the first time in front of the members of the board. You need to do it 200 times before you do it in front of the members of the board, and you have the opportunity to show us, to show your family, to everyone. Well, obviously, we can give you the feedback so that when you are in front of the members of the board, you're comfortable enough.
Okay.
It's all about practicing, and as the old saying goes, practice makes perfect.
That's it.
This is pretty much what you have to do. Drill it until you do it like the back of your hand.
That's it. And now Alex will tell us a little bit about a section which is common to all communities, which is just the exposition of the didactic unit.
Didactic unit, which is
or teaching unit, right?
So yeah, there are different ways in which you can call it. I usually call you can call it either way: teaching unit, didactic unit. At the end of the day, it's what we teachers do in class.
In English-speaking world, you will find teaching unit more than didactic, but you know, our ear is just so used to didactic that just works perfectly as well.
Well, basically, it's what we do in class. It's the sessions that we arrange in which we can put all the curricular elements, the contents, the objectives, and everything, so that we can carry out a whole organized set of sessions arranged alongside one given idea. We will give you a written document adapted to the legal requirements of all the different autonomous communities, because as Jose has said, in general, the core thing is the same for all communities. There are slight changes depending on the community where you want to take the exam. We will have a look at that, and we will give you customized information so that you can just stick to the standards of the communities where you will take the exam, no matter where it is. It's be Valencia, Murcia, Madrid, Andalusia, whatever it is. You will have like a sample document, a model document to create the different sections, because as I said, it's like a scaffolding. You will have like the whole document empty for you to fill it with the information that will come up as the final product that you will do, depending on your likings. Because in this section, actually, the teaching unit has to be yours in all senses.
That's it.
You will have the chance to choose the topic you like most. If you are into music, if you're into artificial intelligence, if you are into you name it. Basically,
it's the most personal side of the exam by far.
exactly. We will just give you like the scaffolding for you to show your idea.
And in fact, as I usually tend to say, in English we're quite lucky, right? Because if you're a math teacher, well, you more or less have to restrict yourselves to certain things, but in English we can just
Everything works.
everything.
Exactly.
If it works, if it makes sense, wow, the world is open. So I'm quite good at this thing, and I would love to introduce it. It is very difficult that we say, okay, no, that does not work. Very, very rare that we just seldom said in the history of preparation. I don't think that thing will fit in the class, because usually everything which is well done, which is well prepared, and if it is just if it is according to your taste, you will defend it with a kind of energy that will make it bright nicer. So usually everything works.
Yeah. When I did my units, most of them were based on traveling and movies because those were the fields I like most.
That's it.
Jose, for instance, he's a jack of all trades, so he can't design anything, but he's very much
Wow.
into music.
That's it. I even wrote the guitar to the defense because I couldn't. At that time, you could get
Yeah.
all material. So I
But
was just making a competition, singing songs with the members of the board. But
Exactly.
worked.
So what your
It
unit?
was about my didactic unit was about the Simpsons family.
You see,
He liked The Simpsons.
it's totally up to you. This is the good thing. You will enjoy it a lot.
All right.
So yeah, basically you will have
Different models.
different models. We will
All the
give
different
you-
sections. So this is the introduction. This is an example of the introduction. This is the content section. Well, the basic knowledge. Now this is a model. So
exactly.
and then you will have all the materials that you need to change that and make it yours. And then you have the
And if you are now blank because you are now wondering, well, I like many things, but I don't know if they suit a unit, we will give you tons of examples for you
That's
to
it.
be able to pick up one.
We have the learning situations as well.
That's it. That will be included. You know, depending on different communities, some communities say you have to design a didactic unit, or you have to design a learning situation, or you have to design a teaching unit with a learning situation inside.
Projects.
Of course, it's going to be a general thing, but then it's going to be adapted to the requirements of the course as they go. We've got full course already released, but as they go, we will just adapt.
Yeah. And last but not least, oral defense. The oral presentation as well of the teaching unit will be.
There will be oral presentations, both from the teacher side and from your side. So you will have models of the presentations as the course goes far by Ramón, Alex, and Maria Libertad. So you have like 3 models of the thing, what you should do, and then of course you will have the opportunity to do defenses or do expositions, but not only at the end of the road. I would love you to just make small expositions at the end of every single section, because that breaks the ice, that makes you put yourselves in the position. Some people is just so afraid of just being in front of people. You can work on that, and you are going to pay to have the opportunity to surpass that.
Exactly.
So either just recording yourselves and sending us the task through the campus if you're in the online version, or just standing up in the class and just talking for 10 minutes about the introduction of your unit. That will be as good as just defending everything in order to just detect what happens to you, to your body, and to your mind when you have to just talk in front of people. It's not the same doing it in the university as doing it in front of strange people, and it's just awful to wait until the day of the exam just to do the thing. So we will just schedule times for you to have the opportunity to do all expositions along the whole year, maybe starting in November or so. Of course, the veterans groups can do the whole thing from November. So we will just refresh everything. But if you have your defenses done and that's what we want, the on-site, we can take the most of the time in the academy if we just use that time to do our defenses. And if you have everything prepared, being a veteran means practice. Instead of creating materials and rearranging new things and elaborating the documents, if you have everything done, what's the difference? We'll see a slide later at the end. It's just practice the thing and getting better and better. Okay. So
Well, we've been through this already, so you know you have the possibility to defend your and to expose the syllabus, the teaching unit, and obviously we've already said it, but you are going to do it in front of the members of the board, which could be us, because
That's it.
and the members of the board are not monsters, because they're going to be when you pass the exam, they're going to be colleagues. You might be in the same school as the member of the board who is in front of you. The only thing is that
And you could be a member of the board in 4 years.
when you pass the exam.
That's it.
So what happens is that we are obliged to be there. Well, not us, but if you're a member of the board, you have to be as serious as possible and try to see who is valid or not, and who's prepared, basically, not.
That's it.
And just one thing regarding the defense is not, when you do the defense of the teaching unit, and more especially, I don't know about secondary, but especially in primary education, the members of the board are your students. So if you do the teaching unit for grade 1, you cannot just stand there and blah, blah, blah. They are your students. Do you speak to your first grade students like if they're going to sleep? No, you have to.
Yes, kind of acting. You know, what teachers can tend to act a little bit just to
you have to act.
that sounds funny.
You're going to be embarrassed. You don't, but you need to act out. You need to make
And make them engage. Yeah, that's it. All right. Now, regarding materials, as Alice will tell you.
Well, as you can see in this slide, the layout of the campus is very visual.
Pretty simple.
It's very simple. You will get used to it very quick. Everything will be organized in different sections that you will identify with pictures and with like a heading. Everything is going to be organized there for you to download it and then to watch classes. As you can see, classes on
lessons which are recorded, as we said, they are going to be all classified there. Session 1 and the date, session 2 and the date.
Exactly. So you won't miss anything. The set of topics will be in a folder. Then you will have mock exams to upload if you follow the online version.
Of course.
You cannot come to the academy to take the exams on site. Session documents that we will use in every single session. We will show you different materials.
And of course, they will coincide. So session 1 documents will find everything that you will find in session 1 here in the class. So what is he talking about? If you're in session 3, go to session documents, find everything we show. Everything we show in the screen
will be uploaded.
Everything, okay?
Exactly.
And the assignment section is the section where you will just hand in your finished versions of either sections of the teaching plan or didactic units, right? So in the assignments, okay, the introduction, the competencies, the different sections will be, we will create a task there for you to upload. The tasks are going to be, are going to have a deadline, but then there will be a delayed folder. So if you couldn't finish the task within the 2-3 weeks that we give you, just upload them to the delayed folder. The only difference is we'll finish first the corrections of all those students who hand in the documents on time, and then we will go on with the others.
You will be able to message the trainers as well through the campus, because we will be there and you will be there, so we will be able to hold conversations.
And then depending on the variety that you choose, online version students just, I think they pay like the every term in advance, so you have all the materials for that term uploaded. Then we might upload some others that we create fresh and new, but the basic set of things and documents for those sessions for the term you have already paid are going to be uploaded, and the same with the topics. If you are in the blended in the blended variety where you pay each month, every class you will find the topic that we are going to explain in that class, right? So they're going to be uploaded in advance, so you can read them, you can work with them, you can manage them, and then when we go through it, you've got a bigger picture of the thing, right? Okay, but everything is just so simple, okay? Yeah. Documents, sessions, assignments, your work, and topics. We don't want to make things more confusing, right? And regarding mock exams,
this is my favorite part. I would like to comment on this part. I told Jose I wanted to comment this because it's something that Jose said it before. This is paramount. I mean,
Totally.
We said that we are going to give you the program of the whole year, and we're going to give you nearly on a monthly basis, more or less. You're going to have a mock exam. You're going to have the possibility to do 8, 9 mock exams.
That's it.
Throughout the year. I'm telling you now, those days should be the most important day of
That's
the month,
it.
because nothing can happen. You've nothing to do besides that. That day is the mock exam, because
Nothing more important.
I can guarantee you, and Alex and Jose can tell
Yeah, that's it.
if you start thinking that if you set the objective in June, you will get to April and you will know how many topics to.
That's it. That's it.
So you need to set
You need to set shorter.
objectives. So if we say the 15th of October, there's a topic, the mock exam, and you need to know 4 topics, you need to know 4 topics, because that's the day you are going to do the real exam.
That's it.
Because there's no.
That's not the way to do it. You know, many of you might have finished university this year, and in the university you say, okay, this subject is used for the first term. I have the exam in February. Okay, so I will prepare for February. And this is not the way you have to do here. As I said, this is not about long term. You need to just, it is long term, but you need to just separate it into pieces which are just beatable,
Exactly.
right? So you have to be able to chew all those things. So you need to just say, okay, I need to know 4 topics till November, and you have to study. Some people say, okay, may I skip some topics? How many topics do you have in secondary, Lex?
69, 70.
69. You've got 25, guys. 25. How many can I skip? None. You have to know them all. 25.
You can choose when the 3.
He got 70. Secondary students got 70. All right, so 3 times more. You got 25, and you have a whole year ahead. If you don't know how to just start, get one. You have been studying for your degree at the university, and you have to know yourselves. You have to, well, and we can help you with that, of course. You have to know the kind of intelligence that works for you the best. I don't know if it is listening to things. I don't know if it is really just repeating, making mind maps, underlying, but just get one and start. Get the one which is on as an example there in the webpage, and start studying today.
Exactly.
It's quite hard, but start. And until you know that topic, and you please have that topic just studied by the first, 2nd weeks of the course, because by the end of September, after the explanation of that topic, you should already have that topic in your head, and then keep going. The first one is the most difficult. Is it?
Yeah, that's what that's how I was going to say, because many times candidates come and say, it took me 3 weeks to study one topic.
No, the first.
I'm thinking I'm going to get to the month of June with 10. It's impossible to study the first one, and the second is going to take you 2 months.
It takes longer.
But obviously, once you get, we'll give you so much
skill.
How to.
Once you get a routine and a method, your own one, the one that works for you.
And also, very important regarding the mock exams is that when you do the exam, the real exam, there are going to be different members of the board. One day when you do the exam, maybe the first mock exam, I'm going to assess it, and I'm going to take a checklist, which is more or less the official, and I'm going to go through it in detail, and I will give you a feedback. But then the second one, maybe Jose will assess it,
or Alex, not it,
or Alex or Maria or whoever, and something that I've not really seen, of not given any importance, maybe Alex says, why haven't you done it this way? So you are going to be given feedback from 4 different points of view, which is what you're going to have the day of the exam.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
so
it.
You have a bigger picture.
Quite important, right, Casey? So this is what the reason why you will just pay for an academy is just doing mock exam, right?
Miss this class again, because when I just a personal experience, when I was with Jose, I came on the Monday group, and I was 6 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night.
It.
The day we had the mock exam, we were 15 more or less. The day of the mock exam, there was 2 of us.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
I thought, well,
And it's a shame, because they actually.
But the thing is,
are missing opportunities.
you know, those two candidates attending the exams were Ramón and another, and they too got the position. not strange. So that's it. So we cannot make more emphasis on these things. Start today. Okay, you've got a topic. Upload it. You can start today.
Hard work always pays off.
That's it. That's it. And then just a few comments of what's the difference. We said before, just in the advanced groups, the explanation of topics will just more based on the didactic section, how to apply topics into a real class situation, and there will be tests based on the full set of topics. If you're in a regular group and we have seen 3 topics for the day when we have the first mock exam, you will have I will take 3 topics out of the 3 that we already have. And if we have 6, only out of the 6. But if you're in the regular group, I will take always the topics out of the
25.
set of 25.
So sometimes that this has happened. Other times we take the numbers, and one candidate will say, well, I don't know any of them. Well, if you've come to the exam, you can do one that you know, that you've studied.
That's it, of course.
We go back to the same thing. Those are not the real circumstances. If
That's it.
the day of the exam, you don't know any of the 3,
You're out.
You can write any other.
they're not going to give you the possibility to write.
Okay.
So we are going.
Yeah.
We want to.
But again,
Do the exam
I
on
mean,
the real
be
things.
really concerned about the amount of topics that you have. I have a really close friend of mine who just took the exam last Saturday, and she told me, okay, I was unlucky because I had to study 33 topics, and none of them came out because it's 69. So she had studied only 33, and then she was unlucky. If you study not 33 but 25, you are ready for everything. Okay, so just
100%
that's it.
chances to do.
And then regarding the advanced groups, as we said before, you will have early oral defense and expositions. Okay, if you are a veteran candidate and you want to do the full defense, we will just take it much earlier than with regular groups. Another thing regarding the written exams, the mock exams, is if you're taking the exam in the Autonomous Community of Valencia, you will have the first exam of a topic. The second one, it will be a practical case. Third one, a topic. Fourth one, a practical case. And when the end of the year comes, people from Valencia will have full texts. So that means they will come to the academy one day and they will be 4 hours writing. Okay. Still, if it happens as it used to happen in the past, they will be held on different days because the mock exams, the written mock exams were on different days, but still you have full exams to have full experience, right? That's for those of you taking the exam in Valencia, right? So written exam, practical case, written exam, practical case, written topic. Okay. For the rest, it will always be a written topic. Okay. And another thing is, we've got some questions here from the calls for the exam and the moments where I can just hand in the teaching plan or anything that your autonomous community publishes. It's just included in the news section in the campus, but it's also sent you by email. You will receive every day or every 2 days different mails from the administration. You will say, why am I receiving so many different mails if I'm not taking the exam in those communities? Well, you will receive information from everything. So the moment you see something from your community, you will be aware of that. We will also comment on that in class, but you have a double source of information through the campus. Okay. And all the materials will be, of course, updated to the new legislation, new standards, and everything. And now regarding questions, I think we have a full set here, isn't it? Okay, so there are some of them at least. Maria says, the merits are included in the course document? Yes, they are included. Usually in an annex, okay? There's an annex called Baremo de Méritos.
Yeah.
And you will find there the information. And then there's another person I think it's Maria again. Si no he entendido mal, ya podemos registrarnos para hacer la oposición en Andalucía y Murcia el año que viene. No. En la convocatoria ya pone el plazo en el que podrás matricularte, ¿vale? Que noviembre, diciembre. Entonces tienes el plazo y te dicen de tal día a tal día, en el caso de Murcia, por ejemplo. que sabemos ya cuándo se va a abrir el plazo, pero que no está abierto todavía. En el caso de Canarias sí se abrió el plazo cuando se publicó la convocatoria y ya se cerró. Y ya si no te has podido matricular y querías hacer el examen en Canarias, pues tienes que hacerlo en otra comunidad, ¿de acuerdo? Okay, any other questions? We're here for you guys. Oh, we've been for a while so far.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Got some people around. Okay. Any kind of questions you might have? Isabel, Alicia, Irene, Isa, María, Javi. It was like tons of information.
Yeah.
Maybe you're fine.
There are two more
yeah.
questions coming up.
Entonces, vía 2 y vía 3 estarán en la misma clase. Me gustaría presentarme a las dos comunidades. Sí, estaremos en la misma clase, ¿vale? Porque la diferencia básica es vía 2 tendrá la programación, la parte de programación la veremos y daremos modelo y daremos un ejemplo y entonces tampoco hace falta invertir demasiado tiempo. Se parece bastante, fijaos, el modo en el que antes se elaboraba una programación y en el que ahora se elabora una unidad didáctica es bastante parecido porque antes contábamos de la programación está basada en este contexto social, cultural. Nuestra unidad didáctica tiene que estar basada igualmente en un contexto social y cultural. Hay muchísimas cosas que son comunes. Entonces, haremos una pequeña mención a la programación y daremos un documento guía y un modelo para que la podáis elaborar. Y también seguiremos con la unidad didáctica. No obstante, si en algún momento viésemos que se necesita alguna sesión extra para la gente que se está examinando en Valencia y que tiene la programación, haremos una sesión específica para ellos. Pero efectivamente yo puedo entender que haya gente que diga, no, pues yo me lo quiero preparar todo perfectamente. Pero es que te lo puedes preparar todo para dos comunidades, que luego lo único que tienes que hacer es cambiar aquellos apartados específicos de currículum, que es para una comunidad y para otra. Y hoy normalmente coinciden las fechas, pero con la comunidad valenciana muchísimas veces no coincide. Y ojo, puede pasar también, es raro, pero puede pasar este año, por ejemplo, en Andalucía, el examen
Domingo.
lo hicieron domingo. Entonces, quien se había matriculado de Andalucía y de Murcia, porque no tenía claro, pudo hacer el examen en Andalucía y en Murcia. ¿De acuerdo? Entonces, no lo sabemos, no suele pasar, pero no cuesta ningún trabajo si tú tienes dudas entre dos comunidades, por centrarte primero en elaborar todo el documento, la unidad didáctica, la programación, lo que tengas que hacer de una, pero después adaptarlo a la otra es un proceso relativamente sencillo, ¿de acuerdo? A ver.
Dado que no hay examen práctico en muchas comunidades, nos centraremos más en los temas y la presentación. Pues en los temas tenemos que machacarlo muchísimo. Porque...
Claro, los temas y en la presentación. No obstante, quiero de nuevo hacer un énfasis en la sección de casos prácticos. Mirad, en la sección de casos prácticos presentamos una situación en clase que puede ser perfectamente una pregunta que te haga el tribunal, porque el tribunal te puede hacer cualquier pregunta que esté relacionada con la legislación, con tu unidad didáctica a la que tú defiendas, con metodología, con recursos, con necesidades educativas, y los casos prácticos están relacionados con eso. Y están no solo relacionados con eso, sino que si tú los elaboras, por ejemplo, si yo te digo, a ver, ¿qué haría usted con un alumno que tiene una deficiencia visual ligera para practicar listening? Bien, pues tú tienes que buscar la información y la información que yo te voy a decir es información científica relacionada con autores. Esa me sirve para todas las comunidades, pero ahora tú te vas a tener que ir en tu comunidad autónoma, por ejemplo, imagínate que sea Murcia o que sea Madrid, te vas a tener que ir a buscar qué parte de la legislación habla específicamente de eso. Y vas a crear un documento que no lo tienes por qué hacer por escrito, sencillamente puedes buscar la información, los de Valencia sí lo tienen que redactar por escrito y entregárnoslo cuando haya examen, pero los de otras comunidades sencillamente buscar esa información que os estamos pidiendo en relación a vuestra comunidad, y el hecho de hacer eso os va a dar una riqueza increíble para poder contestar al tribunal si os hace alguna pregunta o incluso para poder incorporarlo a la elaboración de vuestra unidad didáctica si es el caso de una comunidad donde no tenéis caso práctico. Es decir, esa información es una información que es extra a la clase, que si quieres la haces y si no la haces, si quieres trabajas el caso práctico que vamos a presentar y si quieres no lo trabajas, pero es una información que si la haces te va a enriquecer muchísimo. De hecho, decir, bueno, pero entonces vamos a corregir en clase un caso práctico cuando yo no tengo. Tú fíjate que si yo tengo que corregir un caso práctico en el que hablo de la adecuación de distintos settings, de distintos agrupamientos para distintas tareas, eso, cuando yo lo vea en clase, en relación a un caso práctico, te va a servir a ti perfectamente para saber la tipología de actividades que funciona mejor con un agrupamiento en forma de pantalla, un agrupamiento face to the wall, con un agrupamiento en parejas, con un agrupamiento individual. Y eso te sirve a ti también para elaborar tus actividades en tu unidad, ¿de acuerdo? Entonces, efectivamente, por supuesto, vamos a trabajar la unidad didáctica, vamos a trabajar los temas, vamos a trabajar casos prácticos, pero casos prácticos en este sentido, en el sentido en el que están llenos de información que os va a servir para todos, ¿vale? Y la parte de la aprobación es quizá la parte en la que vamos a hacer un énfasis, pero nos vamos a extender menos, porque si surge alguna duda, vamos a dar un documento guía, vamos a dar ejemplos, si surge alguna duda, dedicaremos alguna clase también especialmente para eso. ¿De
A
acuerdo?
mí siempre me gusta recordar, creo que fue cuando tú fuiste miembro del tribunal, siempre nos lo has comentado, y eso lo he comentado a los opositores, que el caso práctico en aquel momento era diseñar una actividad y después había una pregunta que era una línea y
Sí.
era ¿en qué documento del centro se incluye esto? O sea, es que te lo pueden decir perfectamente.
Te lo puedo preguntar al tribunal.
Esta unidad didáctica, sí, maravillosa, pero para sacar el 10 o ese aumento de nota es esta unidad didáctica, ¿en qué? Y eso es una palabra. O sea,
¿En qué documento del centro? ¿En qué parte del decreto del currículum se encuentra la sección que habla de esto?
Claro.
Y si lo has trabajado, lo sabes. Son cosas mínimas, pero que son cosas efectivamente para decidir entre un 9 y un 10.
María también pregunta si vamos a revisar la ley, por supuesto.
Claro, la ley,
Toda-
pero en profundidad, mirad, la ley es vuestra amiga, es vuestra. Sois jóvenes, ya no lo sabréis, pero había un anuncio en el que salía un niño que bebía zumo, otro que quería hacerle un poco de bullying y aparecía el primo de Zumosol, que era como un gigante al lado. Pues la ley es vuestro primo de Zumosol. Si domináis muy bien la ley y en el tribunal os hacen una pregunta, yo que está en un tribunal sé que a veces hacen una pregunta en el que la respuesta, uno de los miembros del tribunal cree que es una y otro de los miembros cree que es otra. Y los miembros del tribunal no son expertos en leyes, son profes que eran expertos en leyes el año que se presentaron.
y que no quieren estar.
Ahora les ha tocado estar en el tribunal, pero no se han estudiado la ley en profundidad porque no es su trabajo. Ellos están ahí escuchando lo que les dices. Y a veces tienen ciertos pensamientos que uno piensa una cosa y otro otra y te preguntan a ti para salir de dudas. Entonces, ¿tú qué haces? Tú dices, tal y como todos sabemos, según la ley, pum, pum, pum. Y si tú dices según la ley, ya nadie te puede decir, ya no ya no va a pensar uno que te has puesto más de una parte o de la otra parte, sino que vas a dar una respuesta científica y una respuesta incontestable. Y eso es genial. La ley es súper importante y la ley os da un montón de respuestas a preguntas de cómo funciona un colegio, cómo se organiza, cómo debo organizar mis clases, qué debo incluir en mis clases. Todo eso está en la ley y la ley siempre la vamos a ver. ¿De acuerdo?
Ya lo iremos viendo poco a poco en los diferentes apartados, pero cuando vosotros hagáis la defensa de la unidad didáctica, vais a decir que utilizáis una metodología en concreto, pero no porque vosotros queréis, sino porque la ley os recomienda eso, os dice que tenéis que hacer en eso en el artículo tal. Y cuando tú atiendes a un alumno con necesidades específicas de una manera, no es porque tú piensas que puede estar bien, pero no lo atiendes de esa manera porque tú lo piensas, sino porque la ley te dice que. Entonces vamos, claro, por supuesto, todo está basado en la ley actual.
Vale, y respondiendo de nuevo un poquito, volviendo a la pregunta de María, en las comunidades que no tenéis caso práctico, por supuesto, vuestro objetivo fundamental, lo otro es complementario, es elaborar un buen documento escrito de la unidad didáctica, defender bien ese documento escrito y el temario. Pero de nuevo, si hacéis y tratáis de resolver los supuestos prácticos que planteemos, vais a coger una habilidad y una agilidad en el tratamiento de la legislación, de los autores, que va a ser, bueno, es que aquí no se trata de hacer algo que esté bien, se trata de algo que sea distinto por encima de los demás. Entonces, eso es una de las cosas que tú puedes hacer, ¿vale? Tener un background de información que te permite salir de cualquier situación.
Que marque la diferencia al final, porque
Claro.
es un examen competitivo, como en inglés de hecho se llama así, competitive exam, porque no basta con aprobarlo. No,
Claro.
lo que te da la plaza no es el 5, es tener más nota que el compañero que está haciendo el examen contigo, que lo puede haber hecho muy bien, pero tienes que hacerlo mejor. Y estar dentro de plazas, al final
Claro.
es estar dentro de plaza.
Nos pregunta Irene, ¿hay muchas dificultades si me presento por las dos vías? A ver, yo entiendo que te presentarías por una comunidad que tenga una vía y otra si son en días distintos. A ver, los temas son exactamente igual. Exactamente igual.
tema es
Diferencia.
igual.
En la segunda parte tendrías un caso práctico, te conviene trabajarlos, y luego en la segunda parte tendrías una programación y una unidad. Básicamente, en esos casos, la programación contiene muchísima información que ya en la unidad no tienes que incluir. La unidad es como más light en relación a elementos curriculares y aplicaciones. Y sin embargo, o sea, tú tendrías que elaborar, tendrías que elaborarla para la vía de 3, que es la más larga, prepararías tu tema, prepararías tu caso práctico, prepararías una programación y una unidad. ¿Qué pasa? La unidad para la vía 3 cogería la misma, pero ahora le tendrías que incluir mucha información de la que has puesto en la programación en la vía 2, perdón, que es la que solo tiene unidad didáctica, tendrías que pasar esa información a la unidad, puesto que no has comentado anteriormente. Tú en la vía 3, en la vía larga, explicabas primero el centro en el que estabas, la tipología de alumnado, la contextualización, la diversidad del aula. Y ya en la segunda parte, eso podías pasarlo mucho más por encima porque ya lo habías explicado. Sin embargo, en la vía 2, donde tú solo tienes una unidad, tienes que explicar la contextualización, el entorno, la tipología del alumnado, la diversidad. Eso que antes se hacía en la programación, tú en la vía 2, en la vía que solo tiene unidad.
Se mete la programación express ahí.
Claro, es como esa pequeña unidad, esa unidad que va sola, al ser plato único, como si dijésemos, no va en un menú de 2 platos como la programación, tiene que incluir más elementos, pero no es que sea especialmente complicado, son elementos que vas a tener que transportar de la programación a la unidad.
La respuesta directa es que sí, que es factible, ¿verdad?
Claro que es factible.
Totalmente factible, que
Claro
lo
que es
puedas hacer.
factible.
Implica un poco más de compromiso desde el principio, pero es totalmente realizable. Siempre que las fechas no coincidan, pues totalmente factible.
Vale. Me preguntan por aquí, los que tenemos B2 en Escuela Oficial de Idiomas, por ejemplo, ¿no contaría como méritos o a partir de C1? A ver, depende de las comunidades y, por ejemplo, en el caso de Murcia, en la Escuela Oficial de Idiomas, lo que cuenta es que tengas el título de enseñanzas de régimen especial. Las escuelas oficiales de idiomas son enseñanzas de régimen especial. También tienen su título propio, que es título de nivel avanzado de Escuela de Idiomas. Yo ese lo tengo. Ese es un B2 porque en su día con ese título te van un B2 y ese título, el título de superior de Escuela de Idiomas te da puntos. Porque lo que te da puntos no es la letra que está asociada al título, sino el título, ¿de acuerdo? En el caso de Cambridge y Trinity y eso es distinto. Ahí sí, ahí tienes que tener C1, ¿de acuerdo, Isabel? Pero en el caso de Escuela de Idiomas es distinto. Tienes que ver que ponga certificado de nivel avanzado.
De todas formas, en todas las órdenes, en la parte de anexo, está la tablita esta donde te aparecen las conversiones, lo
Sí.
que
Bueno, y
equivale.
esto es en el caso de Murcia, porque en el caso de Valencia, por ejemplo, si el título es del idioma por el que te
Porque te
presentas,
presentas no lo computa.
no vale,
Exacto.
no te da puntos, ¿de acuerdo?
Pero bueno, eso está especificado en todas
En las convocatorias, sí.
en las convocatorias de todas las comunidades, súper fácil.
Y eso puede cambiar, es decir, ese apartado en Valencia, por ejemplo, podría cambiar para la siguiente convocatoria, no la tenemos y de repente admitirlo. O sea, eso es una de las cosas que pueden. El bloque 1 no se puede mover porque es la experiencia previa. El bloque 2 es el que tenía otros estudios y ahora se incluyó el poder, los títulos de C1 y tal que tuviesen en ese bloque, pero hay comunidades que pueden en el bloque 3 o incluso algo en el bloque 2 hacer pequeños cambios. Eso hasta que no tengamos la convocatoria no se puede saber de un modo definitivo.
María, si para maximizar los puntos tenemos que, en cuanto a los idiomas, tenemos que tener C1 y luego el título, C1 entiendo de Cambridge, Trinity o alguna tal, y luego el título de la Escuela Oficial de Idiomas.
No.
Son dos diferentes.
A ver, Alex.
Pero es se cuenta normalmente el título
superior.
más alto que tengas.
Sí,
O
mira.
sea, que si tienes el C1, por ejemplo, por una institución, sea Cambridge o sea Trinity, y luego tienes el C1 o en este caso el avanzado de la Escuela Oficial de Idiomas, al final te computa el título más alto que tengas de cada idioma.
A ver, María, mira. Supongo que me estás preguntando por la Comunidad de Murcia, no sé si me estás preguntando por otra. Pero si me preguntas por la Comunidad de Murcia, en esta convocatoria de vía 2 extraordinaria que vamos a tener, resulta que los méritos han pasado todos al bloque 2. Los méritos de idiomas. Antes teníamos que en el bloque 2 estaba solo la Escuela Oficial de Idiomas y en el bloque 3 otros méritos estaban los cursos y estaban los certificados de instituciones como Cambridge, como la Alianza Francesa, el Goethe Institute y demás. Entonces ahí sí había posibilidad de puntuar en un bloque y en otro bloque. Ahora mismo, agrupados como están, te dicen que tienes que elegir uno o el otro. Entonces, ¿cómo puedes conseguir más puntos? Teniendo C1 de distintos idiomas, porque distintos idiomas sí te darían más puntos, ¿vale? Pero ahora mismo, tal y como está la cosa, si tú tienes el título de la Escuela Oficial de Idiomas, el título de nivel avanzado de Escuela Oficial de Idiomas, ya no te puntuarían un C1 o un C2 que tuviese de inglés. ¿vale? Porque ahora mismo están agrupados en el mismo bloque y hay una especificación que dice que o en uno o el otro elige y los dos te dan medio punto, o sea que te da igual, ¿vale?
De todas formas, los méritos los veremos en detalle
Hombre, claro.
en
Es de lo
septiembre.
primero que
Creo
se ve para
que
que de las
os dé
primeras clases.
tiempo a conseguir todo, lo veremos en detalle.
Pero entonces, si tengo el B2 o C1, no cuenta en la Comunidad Valenciana, hasta ahora no.
Hasta ahora, exacto. Al final hay que tener en cuenta que nosotros nos basamos en la convocatoria anterior hasta que tenemos la convocatoria del año en el que nos vamos a presentar. Porque normalmente suele servir como una especie de guía de lo que nos vamos a encontrar. Pero de una convocatoria a otra, las cosas pueden cambiar muchísimo.
Sí, pero en los últimos años en Valencia solían darle prioridad a la lengua, al valenciano,
Al valenciano, exacto.
y entonces le
Y de
quitaban.
hecho, en Valencia concretamente es bastante cambiante, bastante fluctuante, porque por ejemplo en 2019 cuando yo me saqué la plaza fue el primer año en el que los títulos de la propia especialidad por la que te presentabas no computaban.
Ujú.
Yo iba con mi arsenal de C1, C2, pensando que lo iba a poder meter además en distintos bloques y cuando salió la convocatoria por final de febrero, marzo, por ahí, fue cuando vimos que los títulos de la especialidad por la que te presentabas no computaban, con lo cual de golpe pues todo el mundo que tenía ese arsenal de títulos, pues ya automáticamente no los podía
A
aportar.
intentar sacar la capacitación.
Claro, luego estaba el tema de la capacitación, que era en el año en el que yo me presenté, era obligatoria. Luego, en la siguiente convocatoria, dejó de ser obligatoria y
pasó a ser
empezó a
mérito.
pasó a ser mérito, exacto. El grau mitjà o el C1 de valenciano, eso sí que es obligatorio,
Y
que
el,
tampoco.
el título de mestre, creo que en mérito
El
también.
título de mestre es mérito, sí, desde el principio, o sea que al final es muy fluctuante. Este tipo de requisitos a veces se consideran requisitos de
esperar.
entrada, otras veces se consideran
Sí.
méritos.
Espera la convocatoria.
Exacto,
efectivamente.
nos podemos basar en el anterior y más o menos tenemos ahí una buena pista. Pero hasta que no salga la convocatoria como tal, todo es subject to change.
That's it. Okay. So,
Podría volver, ¿eh? Podría volver
sí,
a
claro.
valorarse.
Claro. Podríamos volver a tener listening alguna vez. Y es que tantas cosas que han ido
Exacto, o sea,
variando.
no hay que pensar, cuando uno se prepara una oposición, no tiene que estar pensando justo en restringirse a lo que se pedía en la convocatoria
Hay que
anterior.
basarse en eso,
O
pero
pensar que a lo mejor te has sacado unos títulos que luego no te van a hacer falta, porque puede ser que cuando salga la convocatoria vuelvan a estar, puede ser que a lo mejor pues no te saques la plaza ese año, pero es que justo en la siguiente convocatoria sí que vuelva a estar lo que en esa anterior no se valoró. O sea que al final esto es un trabajo a largo plazo y todo lo que tengas al final pues siempre va a estar ahí para poder aportarlo cuando haga falta.
that's it. Okay, any other questions? All right. Seems that everything is just happy so far.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look at the four of us again. Entonces, a ver, si no tengo experiencia, la vía 2 no me conviene, correcto. A ver, si puedes elegir entre vía 2 y vía 3, si no puedes elegir, te conviene lo que sea.
Claro.
Si puedes elegir entre vía 2 y vía 3, vete a la vía 3, ¿vale? ¿Por qué? Porque en el baremo de méritos puntúa mucho más la experiencia laboral en la vía 2 que en la vía
Que la
3.
vía 3, exacto.
Pero en cualquiera de los casos, si es la única vía que puedes hacer, ten en cuenta que hay gente que tiene muchos méritos y que no va a llegar a poder presentarlo porque a lo mejor no,
Porque no pasa en el
no pasa
examen
en el examen.
teórico.
Un buen examen, una buena defensa de la unidad te va a dar siempre una buena nota que te va a poner en la parrilla de salida, si no para la plaza, para un trabajo que está remunerado exactamente igual y que te va a hacer que vayas teniendo experiencia laboral para que la próxima vez sea tuya.
De hecho, es súper común los típicos interinos que llevan muchos años trabajando, que ya han perdido el ritmo de estudio, que tienen muchísima puntuación de
Claro.
experiencia, pero que han perdido el ritmo de estudio, no tienen hábito de hacer exámenes y se quedan justo en la parte del examen con mucha puntuación que os pasarían por la izquierda y por la derecha si pudieran aportar méritos, pero como para poder entrar en esa fase tienen que pasar la primera prueba, pues si no la pasan, por mucha experiencia que tengan y que puedan poner por delante vuestra, pues no van a tener la oportunidad de hacerlo. O sea que al final todo es muy relativo.
Exacto. Muy bien. Vamos a dar un momentito por si alguien más pregunta o tiene alguna duda. De cualquier forma, si os surge cualquier duda, si habéis visto este vídeo con posterioridad y no podéis preguntarla, enviadnos un correo, ¿de acuerdo? preguntáis si ya estáis matriculados, si tenéis dudas a través del campus, si no, podéis preguntar siempre por el correo electrónico en la oficina, ellos lo dan,
O llamar por teléfono.
o llamar por teléfono y os
Y os van a
resolvemos todas las
atender.
dudas.
Sí puedo elegir, pero la vía 2 es más sencilla, entonces que no sabe qué hacer.
Ya, bueno, pues sí, ya. Eso también, pues ya depende un poco. Las expectativas. La habilidad 2 se
Claro.
supone que sí es algo más sencillo, pero de todas formas el temario hay que estudiarlo igualmente.
Al final es empezar por el temario, que es lo
Claro.
fijo en ambas cosas, y tampoco intentar adelantar una decisión. Vamos a
Poco a
retrasarla.
poco, no,
Claro.
exactamente. No
No hace
necesitas
falta
tomar esta
tomar
decisión ahora.
decisiones ahora mismo cuando todavía tenemos
Igual,
margen de...
igual resulta que en noviembre, en diciembre ya te encuentras para una cosa o para otra.
Exacto. Y muchas veces uno va encontrando su camino
El
si no
tema de los
fuerza
distintos- Exacto.
si no fuerza el decidirlo.
Y como
más
ya te digo, la
temprano.
preparación de las distintas secciones de la programación didáctica contiene muchísima información que luego se puede pasar a la
Exacto.
unidad y también a la inversa. Si decides, vale, pues yo voy a empezar a preparar la vía 2 y después ya veré si me paso a la 3, que es la de siempre. Bueno, pues empieza con la 2, donde tu unidad didáctica tendrá muchísima información que si decides pasarte a la 3, esa información la pasarás al documento programación didáctica y el documento unidad lo dejarás más ligerito, ¿vale? O sea que puedes empezar por donde quieras. Okay. All right. Seems that there are no more questions. So I think it's been a pleasure. Okay, it seems there was a last one. Agradecerles.
Por la sesión informativa.
Muchísimas gracias.
Muchísimas gracias a ti,
Gracias
Alicia,
a ti y a todos los
Irene,
demás.
María, a todos los que habéis participado.
Exactamente, que habéis pasado un rato aquí con nosotros. Espero que os haya servido y cualquier duda que tengáis, seguimos estando aquí para vosotros, ¿de acuerdo?
Nos vemos por aquí.
Y nos vemos, si así lo decidís. All right, have a great summer and enjoy your time.
Exactly. And see you back in September.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
See you at the depot.
See you at Tepo.
See you at Tepo.